We got the old 35 grams of garlic, which we're gonna down right now. So today is the first episode of Bulk 365. Now I am weighing in this morning at 205.3 pounds. That is the lowest I've been since I started bulking. I started bulking on November 15th and it is currently November 19th. So we're 4 days in. We are still going to need to play with the macros a little bit. Right now I am at 210 grams of protein, 75 grams of fat, and 410 carbs with 6K steps per day. I know the steps aren't a lot, but we will play with the steps and the macros in time. The plan is to bulk for a year straight, and the reason I want to do this is that I'm sick of bulking for 12 weeks, putting on 20 plus pounds, and then cutting for 10 to 12 weeks, losing 20 plus pounds. I feel like this is really hurting my progress over the long term. I'm kind of starting up where I stopped at in terms of at the end of the cut. I'm pretty much just as strong as the previous cut, which is really doing me no good. Also, it's just not a healthy mindset to have. I mean, when you're putting on 10% of your body weight and then taking off 10% of your body weight in a span of 20 weeks, I don't think that's really healthy, you know? It's almost an eating disorder. And so, by bulking for 365 days a year, it forces me to put on a very small surplus. I'd like to hit a surplus of about 150 calories. That would be 1 pound a month. Is that going to happen? Probably not. You know, that's very hard to do, especially with my job. Some days I'm out walking all day, turning valves, you know, climbing towers, whatnot, locking on equipment. And other days, I'm not walking at all. I'm at a computer all day. So, it's going to take some work. This is not easy. I don't work a desk job. I don't work regular hours. It's going to take some time. That's why, during this bulk, if I actually lose a little bit of weight in the beginning, that's fine. That just means I need to up my calories. And we will do that by adding mainly carbs, you know. So, to kick it off, we are doing legs today. We're going to stay at the home gym. I don't want to go in at 5 o'clock in the morning to EOS Fitness, because it's so crowded, and I don't want to bring my camera in there at this time. We'll get some commercial gym footage here. I'm thinking either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So today it is legs. And as always, I always take my creatine and pre-workout. The creatine is just NutriCost. It was the cheapest one on Amazon, and that's really all you need. Look for the cheapest one that has creatine monohydrate. I mean, I think this was 200 servings for $30. Look it up on Amazon if you need one. And then this pre-workout I actually found at Marshall's for like 13 bucks. And I looked at it, and it has 325 milligrams of caffeine per serving, and has some beta-alanine, you know, L-tyrosine, all that good stuff. I don't really care when it comes to pre-workout as long as it has caffeine. I do top it off with a little bit of caffeine anhydrous. Now this was hard to find. I had to go on Etsy to find this. The guy shipped it from Sweden or somewhere. don't have to look around for that one. That's just to add an extra little kick. So let's down this and get right into the workout. So it just so happens that I'm also doing calves today. I do calves, abs, and side delts once every 3 days, but never on a rest day. I choose to do this because, one, they're my weak points. Not so much my side delts, but I definitely want to bring up my abs and my calves during this bulk. And calves, abs, and side delts, they don't affect any other body part that you train. You know, my calves can be sore before my leg day, my abs can be sore before my back day, chest day, legs, whatever, it doesn't matter. Same with side delts. So if you can increase the frequency at which you train those, one, you can bring that body part up, and two, it's not going to negatively affect anything. You don't want to necessarily do that with every body part. Let's say your triceps are lacking and you want to work your triceps once every 3 days or whenever they're not sore. Well, that could impact your chest day. Or let's say your biceps, you want to bring your biceps up. You don't necessarily want to do that because it could impact your back day. Forearms, same thing. Traps, same thing. You know, then you can't work them with back or shoulder day, whichever day you work them with. But we are doing calves today. And we're going to start by doing 2 sets on the seated calf raise and then 2 sets on my hack squat, which will act as a standing calf raise machine. I like to do the seated calf raise because it's going to work the outside. That's going to work that head better than the standing calf raise will. I feel like it also works kind of the meat down here a little bit better. The standing calf raise seems to work this bigger head more. Seated calf raise for me works this outer head, the smaller outer head more. With those standing calf raises, I think it's really important to emphasize that stretch on the eccentric and almost take a slight pause. You know, Dr. Mike Isbertel and others, you know, those YouTube fitness influencers, they say there's research that shows calves benefit tremendously from a deep stretch. And, you know, I'm inclined to believe it. I don't have the biggest calves in the world, but it does feel really good when you get that deep stretch in the standing calf raise. So that's what we're gonna do. We got one more set, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of our leg workout. Whew, all right. Hack squat time. Now, my philosophy is that you should take every set to failure, because that will ensure progress. It will always ensure that you're pushing yourself hard enough to go to failure. Now, legs are not my most gifted body part, and that is why it is especially important that I take that to heart here, that philosophy to heart, that we go to failure. My goal here is to fail, okay? I do not want to be able to do that last rep. Sometimes I can't find it in me. Sometimes I fall short. But it is very important that I always try to fail. As many as I can. Yeah. Need more weight. I haven't done a leg day here in quite some time. I've been enjoying going to the commercial gym I frequent. It's good to be back here. On those hack squats, really any squatting movement, especially for myself, I really got to focus on keeping those legs parallel to one another, because my right leg tends to want to buckle in. This bulk, I really want to work on symmetry. Left leg is slightly bigger than my right, so that's another reason I want to be hyper focused on feeling that mind-muscle connection, keeping my legs parallel to one another, making sure they don't buckle. That will help to ensure equal load being distributed to each quad. Let's see how many I got on 360. Fuck you. Now, if you're gonna do sissy squat, I'd recommend doing it on a Smith machine. That you really target those quads. And then, just as important, if not more important, make sure your knees are actually going over your toes. It's going to provide really deep stretch in those quads. That's what we want to target. You don't want your feet all the way out here and you be leaning back into the squat. No, that's going to target your glutes and hamstrings. If you're just doing a regular squat then, sissy squat equals knees over toes. Do not need a lot of weight. Fucking get it. Woo! Use such little weight, such lightweight rather, but you get so much stimulus in your quads. And I mean, I think that at least to lower overall fatigue, especially from a leg movement, that's awesome. Legs, as you know, are very fatiguing. So if you can find an exercise that provides a high stimulus to low fatigue ratio, try to stick with it. Whew. All right, so the goal here for a leg extension is to get a deep stretch, slow on the eccentric on the way down, and then explode on the way up. We're gonna use these yoga blocks to extend the range of motion because right now we are limited by the machine. This will add, I don't know, 2 inches of extra stretch. Just put them in there like so, and boom. Quads, well, I should say, your ankles are forced back further, which in turn pull harder, pull more on your quads. Not rocket science. Okay. So that's 7 sets on quads. We're gassed. I think that's all I really need because I take every set to failure. But it's a work in progress, you know. Currently, I don't think I would get more than about 7, maybe 8 sets on quads. But who knows, maybe as I carb up, if we have to increase calories a little bit, maybe 9 sets would feel better, or 10. But for right now, 7 sets seems optimal. Anything more is a wasted junk volume. So let's get into hamstrings. All right, so, you know, that's gonna put a little bit of pressure on our lower back, but it's okay. Do 2 or 3 sets here, and then 3 to 4 sets on laying leg curl. And we'll be done. I think it's really important to use straps on any RDL movement because, you know, your forearms are much more likely to fail before your hamstrings are. The cool thing about this machine is that not only is it a leg extension, but it is a laying leg curl. It was pretty expensive, but I think I got a good deal on it. So I thought it would be worth the cost. With laying leg curl, the main thing that you want to try to get out of the movement is a deep stretch. So when you're making your adjustments to this arm here, make sure that when it's all the way down and you get in, make sure that it's forcing your hamstrings to stretch. Because if it's too high up, when you set it and when you get in, you don't feel it pushing down on the back of your ankles. It's too high and you're not getting a deep stretch, which is the whole point of this piece of equipment. Now here's set one. We'll do 3 sets. Whew. At the end of my set, when I reach failure on these laying leg curls, I like to do those partials at the end. I really feel like that adds that extra kick to it. Well, that's it. We did 7 sets on quads, 6 sets on hamstrings, and then of course we did the 4 sets on calves. Let's hit that Posedown showdown. Have a little post-workout talk. That's it. So, I mentioned the start of the workout. Make sure you can hear me. I mentioned before the workout, we were sitting at 205.3. That's after waking up, doing my business. Relatively low body fat. You can see the veins running up the quads. I'd say I'm sitting around 10%. Let's get a pose. Let's do that front double bi. Now my posing definitely needs a whole lot of work before I compete. But in time, we'll get there. Now, in terms of legs, what I need to bring up, you know, obviously my legs as a whole, quads, hamstrings, calves, but we need a whole lot more hamstring. It doesn't quite pop like I want it to. Calves too. Quads are okay. They are just okay. And we will bring those up in time as well. So, that's it for the workout. Let's get our post-workout shake and basic supplementation in. So for our post-workout meal, we have 135 grams of banana, which is about 27 carbs. We got the old 35 grams of garlic, which we're going to down right now. Protein shake with 1 scoop of Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey. 40 grams of protein, 2 grams of fat, 26 grams of carbs. And then for our supplementation, we have a multivitamin, 3 grams of fish oil, some D3, ashwagandha, and lion's mane mushroom. In total, our post-workout macros are 43 grams of protein, 2 grams of fat, and let's see, math is hard, 26 plus 27 plus 11, 64 grams of carbs. I do have some more room for carbs right now, but I did have a lot pre-workout, so I'll save them for throughout the day. Looking at our workout, we progressed on all the movements, which is good and expected because we're just coming off of a cut. Going forward, we just need to keep it up. Not a lot more to say about that. Camera just died on me, so I plugged it in and I took it off the tripod. What I was saying is bodybuilding should be about fitness and health foremost,